Hi, Steve.
Hi there.
Sorry, I couldn't hear to work. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, it works now. Sorry.
I know it's always a mystery what Zoom's going to do with your devices.
It is indeed. So Emil is back from holidays, but I think he won't be able to join today. So let's see if Ben or
Right?
Brad or someone is can
Yeah.
join. Yeah, could Jalander. Hi, Jalander.
Hello?
Okay, let me share the notes. Maybe let's wait another minute, see if anyone else is joining. Okay, well, I guess the three of us, I would get started, and then if someone else joins, we can catch up. So welcome to the CDF Events Implementation Working Group. Oh, David is here. Hello, David. Hi, David. We're just about to get started. So yeah, welcome to the working group. My name is Andrea Frittoli. I work for IBM, and so this is. I'll just put in the chat the link to the notes. And feel free to sign yourself in if you'd like to. Right, so I put a couple of things on the agenda, but if there are more things that you would like to discuss, please add them or bring them up. I guess the first thing is about the draft messaging requirement. So thanks, Steve, for preparing that. I just wanted to, yeah, sync on what's the next step for that.
I think the next step is to go through and at least at this point, accept the comments that we have. And I don't know if there's a bunch by Emil, and I don't know if we should wait for another meeting. Some of them are just minor things. So I I think what I could do is go through, accept the minor stuff, and then leave the bigger things, bigger outstanding questions till next time. Does that sound like a decent plan?
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll work on that today to go through and get that document cleaned up so we can keep moving forward with it. The one question I did have that I thought of for the requirements document is if we need to address anything around the signing of messages of events and how that would be handled. If we need to put into the requirements doc something around that aspect of events, because it does it kind of opens a can of worms if we are going to go if we want to have that functionality out of the gate right away,
Mm.
because it gets deals with the keys and verify being able to verify signatures and things like that. So that's just like one of the questions I had
Mm.
that's come up, if we should address that now, or just put it, we can put it in um, the non-functional requirements that we're not going to.
I I don't think you need to worry about it. So I'm working on a proposal, not for CD events, but for cloud events, which signing and verification will be done at that layer, and not at the CD events layer. So what that means is that the thing that you're sending, basically the event, will be verifiable. However, the contents might not be. So that's something, if that's, if that's what you're talking about, is content wise, then that's something that needs to be addressed. I think, maybe like you were saying, like in a different proposal or something of that nature. But I think in terms of designing events, that proposal will be submitted probably here in a month or so.
Okay, and what I know on the spec side, you guys were doing some work on the signing side of things. Was that for signing a content then?
Yeah, so this is signing. Well, it's not really signing, it's signing the payload. So it's basically the content, well, it's the whole CD event, right? But the goal is to make them verifiable. So basically, the event that you're sending, that means the full CD event was not touched in transport, as well as it was it has some sort of identity associated with it. So yeah. And then give me one sec, my pup needs to go out.
Okay,
Yeah,
I will add that to the doc somewhere, probably under the non-functional, saying that the lower level cloud events will handle the signing and verification and the ability to verify.
sounds good. Yeah, I was going to suggest the same, so I think that makes sense. Cool. The next one, use case document. Um, this one is a PR. I think there are some comments, some reviews, but yeah, just wanted to check whether it's fine to merge these and then we can iterate on top of that, or if folks wanted to have some more time to review. I don't know if did you have the opportunity to look at this, Steve, or do you have any
No, I did not
comments?
have a chance to look at it. I'm looking at it now.
Okay. Well, I can then wait if you'd like.
No, go ahead and merge it, and if I have any comments or I need to add anything to it, I'll just do another PR against it. It looks good for what I just glanced at. So I'm voting for merging it.
Same for me, as there is a lot of open point into this document. There are some use cases. I see some overlap with the project I'm working on. I'm more focused on visualization and tracking, one of the other use cases. So I'm for merging it and iterate, as you mentioned, Andrea.
Thanks.
So I'm in there. Do you want me to merge it?
Um,
Or since you're in there, you can
here.
go ahead and merge.
Yeah, it's here. Okay, yeah. I'll merge it then.
Yeah, my view is, nothing's set in stone, and we can just keep things moving forward. It's better we keep things moving than sit around and wait forever.
Okay. Yeah, I tried to capture your comment, David. If I missed something, feel free to edit, please.
I have no keyboard yet, so I will edit after the meeting.
Okay. Thanks. So for the Ghost Decay, I guess this question was mainly for Ben. Maybe we can ask him once he's back, as he had some comments. But basically, I would like to make a release again for the Go SDK. There are some dependencies for the webbook adapter to have a new SDK. It would be good to have it out there. There is some follow-up required to make some of the construct better fitting with Go. But I was hoping we could address those as follow-ups.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I just got back. But yeah, I think the Go SDK is definitely at a good spot to do a release, Andrea. Like I said, like the comments that I had was more about just making things more a little bit more idiomatic, but that it shouldn't halt a release. And yeah, we can definitely do that, maybe as a like maybe even a point release. Just to make things a little bit more idiomatic, and maybe that's something I can help with it as well.
Yeah,
Do you
right.
do you think any of that those changes would break backward compatibility in any fashion?
No. So we would always be backwards compatible. All these would be additive changes.
Okay.
I say that with the hope. So I'm going to do my very best when I make these changes, but like I'm fairly certain that it's all going to be backwards compatible. So you shouldn't need to worry about anything.
Okay. I just on the timing of things. You know if we're backward compatible, then cutting a release now and then going back in and doing a point works.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Then I'll have a release either today or tomorrow, so that we have that out, and then we can discuss on the next changes. Yeah, cool. And next, I wanted to bring up the GitHub webhook adapter. So Harji is he could not join the meeting today. Is not a good time for him. But basically, he reached out because he's interested in contributing to a webhook adapter for GitHub. And so there is this existing issue, which did not have much content in the beginning. But yeah, so I guess what we discussed with Urge is that the first step would be to identify which events we want to tackle first and how would they map to CD events. And then I could create a new repo for the plugin, and then we would go ahead with the implementation. And I guess
So I want
specifically,
to. Oh, sorry.
yeah.
I wanted to add one comment. So generally, I like Jalander's approach. So if you remember, Andrea, basically whenever a new plugin was going to be introduced, a proposal
Mhm.
was written. So I think it would be good to start with a plugin proposal. Like if you don't recall, like just a few weeks ago, there was the Jira translator proposal. And that was I felt really useful because, you know, laid out, you know, what events was going to be covered, laid out what that they would, you know, what they look like, etc. So I think we should start there, and that will help with point number one of identifying events and mappings. And actually, that's something I can tackle because I'm very interested in actually potentially even writing this myself, to be honest, because this is something that I think will go long term. And you know, there's a few ideas that I want to work with Jalander to kind of make the process even easier to write new plugins. And I think if I was to tackle this, it might, I can basically tackle all those problems all at once, basically, is kind of like what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks, Ben. Yeah, so I mean, with identifying the events and mappings, I'm indeed meant to have a document first. And so what I can do, I can share the existing proposals for Jira and Gerrit with Hergy, and maybe ask to, you know, like seed a new one for GitHub, and then we could collaborate on that if that works.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good plan.
Okay, great. I'll do so then. The last thing I wanted to mention specifically for GitHub adapter is that specifically for GitHub, I think it would be really good to have a GitHub app, and the webhook adapter could be a backend for that, basically. So where the actual translation happens. It's just an idea. I'm not sure if there is any other better way to have that GitHub app. I mean, I guess it
mean,
could be something simpler maybe, but
yeah, so I think what we can do there, so I have an idea for that as well, is basically with the translator that we write, we can write it in such a way that it can almost behave like an SDK as well. So the GitHub adapter may be able to maybe use some components, maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But my idea was like basically, you know, create a Docker image where it basically would be able to be used as more of an SDK-ish type of fashion. That's, you know, depending on how we write it. So yeah, so that's kind of like what I was thinking. But I'll need to think about it some more, if you will.
Yeah, I can see that there's going to be a lot of reusable pieces to that, because if you do a webhook adapter for GitHub, doing a webhook adapter for GitLab is going to be pretty similar. Just some just at the translation layer will be where the differences are, but everything past that's going to be the same.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and specifically for I don't know if GitLab supports something like apps, but for GitHub, I think it would be really good to have an app that folks could use. I mean, we could maybe see if we can get some budget to host it, so that folks could just, you know, install it in their R or their repo without having to maintain or install anything, and just to try things out.
Yeah, wait for my approach first. What I'll do first before just like jumping into the code, I'll write a proposal on like how I envision the SDK like component to work. And my thinking so far is that they might not even need the webhook adapter at all. They might just need only the app if I write it correctly. So I have an idea, but I need to kind of like play with some of the components, or, you know, some of the ideas in the proposal to see if it'll work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just, you know, I brainstorming, and I mean, definitely it would be nice if we don't need to run the entire webhook adapter, and we could reuse the logic. So that would be ideal.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, so I'm definitely on the same page. So yeah, I'll write a small proposal on this. I don't think it's going to be too large. It should be pretty straightforward and simple. Yeah, so I'll try to have that done maybe like here in the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
Also, it could be compared to the CDV project I'm working on, because I already have what is named a collector, where it's like an ETL. We have some source and some sink, And on source, we have HTTP. We plan to have other. It's first for pooling, but for HTTP.
Is this in GitHub, David? That we might be able to take a
No,
look at? Oh, okay.
yes, it's on GitHub. CDVs.
Oh, okay.
You
Also, can you please get a link for that? I would definitely like to take a look.
Yes. I will put in notes when I have a keyboard to write.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, thank you though.
Let's see if I can pull the link. Let's see. Is it CDVs, right?
Yes, CDVs, but on GitHub.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
very similar in the concept. Not the same name as in the discussion because that started a few months ago.
Okay,
And,
so I'll take a look at this repo as I'm writing this proposal. I might ping you, David, just as a warning, with some questions, if that's all right.
You're welcome. Why I also joined this meeting, it's because, to be honest, in few months, I will leave my current company to work full time on this project and maybe create a company based on it.
Oh, cool. Nice. Looking forward to see that happening.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, great. So we have some, well, I think there is a lot of interest definitely in the GitHub translation layer. So yeah, it's a good area to focus on for this working group for sure, I think. All right. I wanted to mention also that Yusuf Jawad, I'm not sure if I pronounced his name correctly. So, but it's the founder of Quantum.io. He reached out to me first and then on Slack to introduce himself and his company. And they are about CI/CD, well, CD services mainly, robust CD services. But basically, they reached out. So he reached out because the CD events idea resonates with them and what they're doing, and they're interested in contributing to CD events. And also, they mentioned that one of the areas that would be the first area of interest is also a GitHub adapter. Yeah. Yusuf also mentioned the possibility of being sponsored to contribute if there are like companies interested in having this functionality but not having the capacity or possibility to contribute. They would be open to that as well. And they asked Henry to sync with them. But yeah, I don't know that it has happened. And I think once we have done the proposal, as we discussed, we can
And
share it.
one ask real quick is, can we put their GitHub aliases inside of this doc as well? Because what would be nice is like when I create that proposal to ping them directly on like the GitHub proposal PR.
Yeah, that's a good, very good question. But I'll check. Otherwise, I'll ask you. So I don't know if I have the GitHub alias.
Yeah, and then worst case, we can always just post it in Slack too. But like it'd be nice, like actually get their feedback, like by pinging them directly. It's just a little bit more obvious or easier to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And then let's see. I mean, they did reach out, so they showed some interest. But then we have to see whether they actually interested in contributing. But I think it's a good opportunity. The more we can grow the community, the better. Right. Okay. And so the only thing that I wanted to mention from my side that I will be on PTO from this Thursday until almost the end of August. But yeah, so I know Emil is back, and I suppose other folks will be around. So we have the next meeting scheduled in 2 weeks from now. And then, yeah, so there's no plan currently to cancel that meeting. So we discussed, I think, last time. We should keep the working group meetings for this working group as they are.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay. Anything else other folks wanted to bring up?
Yes, I would like also, you mentioned the release of the Go SDK. I would like to do the first release for the Rust SDK also during August, if you are okay.
Yes, I think that would be great. So that would be for the 04, right?
Yes, 041. Yes.
041.
For the to publish on a Rust registry, the public Rust registry, the first publication should be made by an individual. Then an organization could be happened. So if you are okay, I will do the publication on my own name. Then I will, when you will be back from vacation, Andrea, we will create the setup in the GitHub organization to do the publication from the CI.
That's perfect. Okay, cool. That's great. I don't have Rust expertise to help review anything from the SDK, unfortunately. What we have done for the Go and the Java SDKs is to make sure that it is possible to produce the examples that we have in the conformance folder on the spec side. So I think if you have something like that on the Rust SDK side, that should be perfect.
That is the one. That's the one language I don't know either. Like I know pretty much all except for Rust. So I also can't help, but I'll be willing to learn. Like if you have a PR, I'll definitely want to take a look because, like I said, I've always had an interest in Rust.
You will have a lot of questions about CDVs because it's full Rust.
Gotcha. All right, then. Warning. All right, lots of questions incoming then.
Yes. For the Rust SDK, I create a branch for each version of the specification, and I test it against all the version, all example and all schema.
Perfect. That's great. So yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, anything else?
No, it's pretty much all that I had from my end, other than the signature proposal or the verifiability proposal that I mentioned in the beginning. Like I said, that's still ongoing. It's taking a little bit longer than I suspected, mostly because security is actually really complex, as you would guess. So like there's a lot of things, or a lot of edge cases, a lot of things that you have to think about. So that's but
Yeah.
my plan is probably within the next couple weeks is to have something at least for people to look at. I mean, like I said, even though it's a cloud events, it's going to be a cloud events proposal. I think since we're going to be using it probably pretty heavily, I definitely want to share it internally with us as well, or within our group.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this working group would be the perfect place to share that.
All right, cool. All right, that'll be a couple weeks then.
Yeah, and I mean, from my side, I guess see everyone in a month's time. Have a great rest of the day, and thanks for joining today.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks.
Right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.